You ask me of struggles and rejections, as if a life could be neatly categorized into ledgers of success and failure. But when I look back at the tapestry of my brief existence, the greatest rejection I ever faced was not from an editor, nor from the literary elite of London, but from my own body. That insidious disease, the consumption, was the ultimate betrayer. It crept into my lungs and slowly, methodically, closed the doors to the world I so desperately wanted to devour. To be young, to have a mind that races like a wild horse across the plains, and yet to be confined to a solitary bed in a foreign hotel room, listening to the relentless ticking of a clock and the terrible hollow sound of my own cough. That was a struggle that eclipsed all others. I was exiled to the Riviera, to Bandol, to Menton, chasing the sun, begging the air to let me breathe, while life, vibrant and careless, carried on without me in England. And oh, England, when I first arrived from New Zealand, a girl with ink on her fingers and a fierce burning ambition, I thought London would embrace me. Instead, I found myself an outsider, a mere colonial peering through the glass at the glittering, impenetrable world of the English literary establishment. The Bloomsbury group, they were so terribly clever, so refined, and so utterly suffocating. Virginia, with her sharp, aristocratic profile, both fascinated and wounded me. She respected my work, I know she did, but she could never quite forgive me for my origins, for what she perceived as a certain cheapness or hardness in my character. I was the wild girl from the antipodes, the one who did not fit neatly into their velvet-draped drawing rooms. The rejections of my early stories were not merely editorial, they were profoundly cultural. Editors wanted neat little plots, beginnings, middles, and ends, wrapped up with a tidy moral ribbon. But I saw life in flashes, in the trembling of a leaf, the sudden shift of light across a teacup, the unspoken despair beneath a casual conversation. I had to fight, violently at times, to protect my vision, to carve out a new way of writing that was true to the fleeting, fragile nature of human consciousness. But perhaps the most profound struggle of my heart was the loss of my brother, Chummie, when he was blown to pieces in that wretched war. A part of my soul was eradicated with him. The universe rejected any notion of fairness the day he died. I was left adrift in a sea of grief, and the only way I could survive was to resurrect our childhood, to write New Zealand back into existence. I owed it to him to capture the aloe, the wind in the macrocarpa trees, the sea pounding against the shore. I wrote against the dying of the light, against the terrifying isolation of my marriage to Jack. Oh, Jack loved me in theory. He loved the idea of a writer-wife, but he recoiled from the ugly reality of my sickness. He left me to face the dark alone, retreating to his safe, intellectual world in London while I spat blood into my handkerchief in lonely boarding houses. Yet, in the end, it was these very rejections, this relentless stripping away of comfort, health, and companionship that forced me to see the world with a terrible, crystal clarity. I had to write fast, capturing the beauty and the sorrow in the brief moments I was allowed, knowing that the ultimate rejection, the final silence, was always waiting just outside my door.